What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Behavioral Arts, and in this short video I'm going to teach you 3 types of questions that will allow you to get the truth out of anyone in any situation. These are techniques that are used by interrogators and interviewers on the highest level of interrogation, and they work wonders, and I'm going to teach you how to adapt it to your day-to-day life. That way nobody can hide things from you, and you have a much better chance of extracting the truth out of anyone in any interaction. The first type of question is called the punishment question, and it's based on the simple fact that psychologically we have a hard time distancing ourselves from actions or activities that involve us directly. Now, this is a technique that interrogators use, but you can use this for any context where something was done and you need to figure out who it was and no one's speaking up. So as a parent, I've been told this is extremely useful. I've taught this to teachers who have said it's really useful. But if you're the CEO of a company or a manager, this will really help you narrow down your search. So basically, the question is the same question always. And the wording is this: when we figure out who did this, what do you think the consequence should be? Consequence, punishment, whatever you're more comfortable with. So first of all, look at the way this is formulated. It's not if we find out, it's when we find out. So it puts in the person's head that we are going to find out who this is. What should the consequence be? After we ask the punishment question, we're listening carefully for 2 things. One is the severity of the punishment that they recommend, and 2 is the pronouns that they use. So let's start with the first one. Someone who did not commit this crime is going to be very harsh. They don't care what the punishment is. It's not going to happen to them. So let's say someone stole from work and you ask the person what the punishment should be. They're going to recommend things like getting fired, criminal prosecution. But let's say, something less severe, like at home or at school. They might recommend being grounded for a week. They might recommend like heavy punishments that they would not enjoy at all, because in their head, it's not going to happen to them. On the other hand, someone who's guilty of whatever the activity is likely to have punishments that are much lighter. Because in their head, you've just said, when we find out, so in their head, there's a scenario where they're going to get caught. So they're going to recommend things that really aren't that severe. In most cases, when the punishment is really intuitively not severe at all, either the person did it themselves or they're protecting someone who did. So either way, they have information. The second thing we're listening for is pronouns. Now, this won't always happen, but when it does, it's a really good clue. Again, it's because their mind is either connected to the activity or it's not. So when you get that severe punishment from someone who didn't do it, you're often going to hear third-person pronouns. Something like, oh, they should be fired. Oh, he should be grounded for a week. Things like that. Someone who's guilty, on the other hand, may not be able to psychologically disconnect from the activity, and you might hear something like, listen, people make mistakes. I know I wouldn't want to go to jail for this. Or, listen, everyone makes mistakes. I know I wouldn't want to be grounded for a week. So when you hear that I, like they're applying the punishment to them, that's a really good clue that they might be the guilty party.
All right, guys, what's going on? I hope you paid attention to what we just showed. That information is very good. So what we're going to do next is we're going to compare what Don Wells said. Now, when he was asked the same questions about when they find out what happened, what do you think the person responsible, what do you think the penalty should be? What do you think should happen to them? It's going to blow your mind when you hear this. And this should be for everybody that says that I don't say anything against the Wells, because it's very untruthful. We've been calling Candace out on continuous lies over the past few weeks. And, when I saw this, it really made me think about some things. This man says, if you are responsible of doing something wrong and somebody asks you when, you got to push the fact that it will be solved. And when they find out who is responsible, what should the the severeness of the penalty be? And he pretty much says, if the person you ask answers with a very, very light punishment, they're probably most likely guilty. If they are like, right out the gate, they need to go to jail, take them to court, do something, something severe, because they don't have to worry about it, because it's not them that has to, worry about, dealing with the penalties. You'll see what I'm saying. Just pay very close attention, and I hope that y'all get as much out of this as what I did. All right, I'll catch you in a minute.
Here's another question then that comes to my mind. In your heart of hearts, what do you want to happen to the person that did this?
Well, I'm afraid if I run into him, it's not going to be good.
Okay, walk me through it.
Well, I mean, I'm not a violent person at all. But when I see somebody hurt a little kid or something, I can't help myself. I don't know what it is. Something just triggers in me. If I see someone being cruel to, and it don't have to be my kid. It can be anybody's kid. I see somebody being cruel or cruel to an animal, I tend to flip. I don't know why. I don't mean to. I mean, you got to understand that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean.
So what do you think should happen? What do you think should happen?
I have to leave it to God, and I know what prison's like, and I have mercy for anybody who's in prison, because you're lucky if you get out of there alive.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So would you want to see this person in prison?
I don't know if I could do that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No,
it just depends on all the circumstances,
What if it was an accident?
Well, that's different, and accidents happen,
Right. And could this have been an accident?
I have no idea. I know if Candace, had an accident or something, she'd call the authorities right away.
Right.
I know that she's not devious like that. She's a good person.
I believe you.
She wants to be a good person.
And
she wants to.
And Don, I told you the first time